No, there we go. So I'm just gonna go through and give the names and give the formulas. If you have some that you have questions about, stop me. All right. I'm not gonna write them all up here, especially on this side because this should be pretty simple. So the first one is just sulfur trioxide, dinitrogen monosulfide, phosphorus trihydride, boron trifluoride, diphosphorus tetrabromide, carbon dioxide, or carbon monoxide, silicon dioxide, sulfur hexafluoride, nitrogen trihydride, and nitrogen dioxide. Any questions about those? All right, on the bottom part, I'm going to go ahead and write these formulas. So nitrogen trichloride is NCl3. Boron monocarbide is just Bc. N2O3 is dinitrogen trioxide. PF5 is phosphorus pentafluoride. P4O10 is tetraphosphorus decoxide. Sulfur dibromide is SBr2. Diboron tetrahydride is B2H4. Oxygen difluoride, OF2. Carbon disulfide is CS2. And nitrogen monoxide is just NO. Okay? Any questions about those? So let's go to the back. This was a little bit more complicated because it's everything, right? So the first thing you need to do when you're not sure whether it's ionic or covalent is figure out whether it's ionic or covalent. So just look at the first element. If it's a metal, it's ionic. If it's a non-metal, it's covalent. So the first one here, Br, is a non-metal. So we're going to call this dibromine monosulfide. The second one, N, is a non-metal. So it's dinitrogen trioxide. Same thing on number 3, nitrogen dioxide. Number 4, Pb is a metal. So the next thing you need to do is figure out if it's a transition metal. Is Pb a transition metal?
No.
No, okay? So we're not going to, even though in chemistry you'll treat it as a transition metal, we're not going to. So you would just call this lead phosphide. No Roman numeral. Nitrogen, again, we know is a non-metal, so dinitrogen monoxide. Zinc is a metal. Is it a transition metal? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to give it a Roman numeral, even though when you get to chemistry, you won't. Okay, but we are. So what is this? Zinc 2 fluoride, is that what it should be? Number 7, carbon is a non-metal, so carbon tetrachloride. Selenium is a non-metal, so selenium dihydride. Aluminum is a metal, but is it a transition metal?
No.
No, so aluminum oxide is all that it's going to be. Number 10, is potassium a metal?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is just going to be potassium oxide. It's not a transition metal. I had a lot of people on this, on the assignment that we turned in, call this dipotassium oxide. Okay, we don't put a prefix if it's ionic, ever. All right? On the bottom part, let's write the formulas. Sulfur trioxide, I think we had this on the other side, I can't remember. This is just SO3. 10,2-sulfide, we'll go ahead and treat it like a transition even though it's not. This is just SNS. Magnesium phosphide is Mg3P2. Phosphorus trihydride is PH3. Cadmium chloride, we would have to give this a Roman numeral. I think cadmium is always 2. I'd have to look it up. So this would just be CdCl2. If you didn't get that right, they didn't put a Roman numeral in there, so don't worry about it, okay? But cadmium is like zinc. It only has 1, but we're not going to treat it like that. Iron 3 phosphide is FeP. Dinitrogen trioxide is N2O3. xenon, hexafluoride, XEF6, vanadium bicarbide. We're going to get rid of the bi there. We're teaching you the simplest way to do this, but later on it'll become a little bit more complicated. I think I've said that several times. I think this is the hardest one on here. It's just V4C5. And dihydrogen monoxide, we know that is water. It's H2O. Okay? Any questions? All right. On Canvas, there are 2 quizzes for you. They're both over transition metals. One is going from names to formulas. The other one's going from formulas to names. So take a few minutes and take those quizzes. Then we're going to do some review stuff. And we're going to have a test in here over bonding and naming on Monday, is my plan. No, not tomorrow. Okay? So we're going to spend a couple days reviewing. I've got a couple things for you to do today, a few more things for you to do tomorrow, and a couple more quizzes over. Let's see, it would be the covalent stuff is all that we need to quiz you over. All right? Make sure that if you don't get a perfect score on those quizzes, you retake them. Okay? There's no need to be failing the class because of the quizzes so far. All right?
Did you say there's 2?
2 of them, yeah. Should be the only 2 opened up so far. And I think they've got transition ionic in parentheses, both of them. So while you're doing that, I'm going to hand out the worksheets for today.